Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. Today I'm doing a review of League 2 and I'm going to be telling you exactly why you should play in this league, telling you which clubs to use, give you some creator club ideas, tell you how to keep it fun, give you some records to aim for, tell you the league rules, and finally giving you some signing suggestions. So let's get started straight away. So what are the strengths and weaknesses of playing in League 2? Well, the first one is actually fairly obvious. League 2 is the longest road to glory you can do on FIFA 23. With League 2 being the only 4th division on FIFA, of course you probably already knew this. The passionate fans in League 2 is something else that makes the league super interesting. A lot of these clubs will still be getting 10 to 15,000 people showing up at their games every single week, despite them playing in the 4th division and having no real chance of any big success anytime soon. A lot of the teams are really big historic teams as well. Teams like Oldham that have fallen out of League 2 now have been in the Premier League in the past. Bradford City is another one that's currently in the league. So these teams have a lot of history and that's why they've got such a big fan base. The league does have some weaknesses, however. A lot of the players are very poor and have very average stats. You can tell that EA doesn't do too much research for this league because a lot of the players will just be 60 rated for basically every single stat. The poor finances in the league as well mean it can be hard to strengthen your squad or build a really strong youth academy if that's what you're interested in. Because EA only adds stadiums when English teams get to the Premier League, unfortunately at the minute there are actually no stadiums in the league as well. So that means basically every team will play at Ivy Lane or Moulton Road, so these two stadiums will be something that become pretty boring if you are interested in playing in lots of real stadiums. However, of course, as you progress up the leagues, there will be more and more because you'll be playing against lots of ex-Premier League teams. And a similar thing can be said for the lack of real faces. However, because a lot of Premier League young players do end up in League 2, there are actually a decent amount compared to things like the 3rd Bundesliga. However, there's still not exactly every single player face scanned. I would say it's probably around 10% at the moment. The real unique feature, of course, of playing in League 2 is that it is the only 4th division on FIFA, and you do have a 5th division team available if you want to add Wrexham in as well. So that's why you should play in League 2. Who should you use for your save? Well, as usual, I've split the clubs up into 3 tiers: the easy clubs, the medium clubs, and the difficult clubs. So the easy clubs would be Salford, Bradford, Northampton, and Leyton Orient. A lot of these clubs have played at higher levels other than Salford, and Salford are only in this tier because they have a really good squad thanks to having a lot of money. If you want a medium difficulty squad, then maybe go for Doncaster Rovers, Colchester and Mansfield Town. This is another set of squads that are probably more suited to playing at League 1 than League 2. So currently they do have some difficulties where they have quite a bad squad at the moment, but they do have the potential to improve quite a lot. And the most difficult clubs in the league would be Newport County from Wales, Crewe Alexandra, who are famous for their youth academy, and Grimsby Town, who only got promoted last year. If you've got any suggestions for a favourite League 2 team, make sure you leave them in the comments below and try and say a little bit about why you should pick them. And if you're interested in playing as a different club than one I've mentioned, make sure you check out the comments below. If you're not interested in playing as a real club, why not go for a creator club idea? We've got 2 for you today, and the first one is Notts County. They're of course the oldest professional team in the world, and they were only relegated to the conference a few seasons ago. They've got very poor finances, and that's a big reason they dropped out of the league in the first place, but they would have quite a big stadium for the level, with around 20,000 seats at Meadow Lane. The second idea is Bury AFC. So they're a fan-owned club and the Phoenix club of Bury FC. They play in blue and white, exactly the same as Bury, who used to be on FIFA, and this club was founded in December 2019 after Bury decided to go bankrupt. They're based near Manchester, so you can pick up a lot of former Man United or Manchester City players, and of course they also have very poor finances because they don't have a rich owner. So now you know which teams are fun and why you should play in the league. How do you actually keep it fun throughout the entire save? Well, I like to restrict player ratings. If you're playing as one of the clubs that I said's difficult, then I would go for 63 as your best player. If you're a medium club, of course, you can go a little bit better, maybe to 64, and if you're playing as one of the best clubs in the league, I would go for 66. This is about the rating where some of the best players of all time have been in League 2. For example, Ollie Watkins and George Grant both had amazing seasons a few years ago, and I think they both got to around 66 or 67, so keep it around here if you want a fun save. With real stadiums, as we mentioned before, unfortunately there are none in League 2, but there are some good records you can aim for. You probably won't be able to beat the all-time appearance holder, which is Peter Shilton, who managed to get 1,005 games in, but maybe you could go for the all-time goals, which is Arthur Rowley's 434. Arsenal lead the way with the most FA Cup wins. They've won that competition 14 times. With 15 seasons, you could potentially break this with any team on FIFA, but if you can pick up a team who's maybe got 3 or 4 in League 2, then you could progress and go for this record throughout your entire save. And finally, there are actually only 3 teams that have managed to win all 4 divisions in the Football League, so why don't you try and match Burnley, Wolverhampton Wanderers and Preston North End by winning both League 2, League 1, the Championship and the Premier League. Could be a really good fun long-term save if you're interested in breaking that record. The League 2 league rules are super easy to follow if you're interested in keeping things realistic. You're only allowed a maximum of 22 players to play over the age of 21 years old each season. So that means any players can play as many games as they want, as long as you only pick 21 of them. At least 8 of the squad should have been trained in the UK, so this includes Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland as well as England. So you have quite a big signing selection pool to pick from right there. I would say if you bring them through from your youth academy, you should include them as trained in the UK. And finally, some signing suggestions for League 2. Well, teams towards the top of League 2 can sign players from the bottom of League 1. There's quite a lot of swapping that goes on between these teams, and quite a lot of the time they will just leapfrog each other season after season. Every team in the league should be able to sign players from the Championship and some Premier League teams on loan. Quite a lot of League 1 teams as well will loan players out the division below, but the Championship players will probably be the highest standard you can realistically go for with any team. And also look for smaller leagues in nations such as Ireland, Norway, Denmark and Poland for players who would be good at this level. And finally, why don't you consider having a look on the map? Try and find some Premier League or Championship teams that are nearby the club you're playing at in League 2 and see how many pre-contract players you can pick up from them. This is something you see a lot throughout the entire Football League. Teams from near Manchester will pick up players from Manchester United and Manchester City. Teams from near Nottingham will pick up players from Nottingham Forest. Teams from in London will pick up the bigger teams, players from Palace, Arsenal, Spurs and West Ham. And if you're playing as a team really far up north in England, maybe someone like Carlisle or Barrow, you should go for players maybe from Scotland or that sort of region as well. So in conclusion, I think League 2 can be some of the most fun road to glories you can do on FIFA. Of course, the prospect of having 4 different promotions gives you that opportunity of building up a team from absolutely nothing all the way to being potential Champions League winners. It's even more fun because the Premier League means you have this sort of end boss kind of thing where you'll be playing against massive teams week in, week out. You'll never get bored of your save because every single season you get promoted, you'll have to rebuild your basically entire squad, you'll have to keep developing and you'll have to keep improving. Let me know how your saves go in the comments below or by messaging me on Discord or on Twitter. But thank you all for watching, I'll see you soon, cheers and goodbye.